Hello, my name is Colin Campbell. I'm with Polygon. You're looking at a PlayStation VR game called Battlezone, which is being made by British developer Rebellion. They're best known for the sort of sniper elite games in which you execute and you sniper against enemies. But this game is a first-person tank shooting game. It's essentially a first-person shooting game in which you're in the cockpit of pretty fast-moving tanks in this neon sci-fi universe. Now, Battlezone is a very old name in video games. It was an arcade game back in the early 80s. I wouldn't say it was one of the best known arcade games, but nor is it especially obscure. The point of the game is to take the cockpit and to chase after these enemy tank robots. Some of them are on the ground, some of them are in the air. You have to make a lot of use of obstacles and barriers in order to hide away from the enemies, which can come at you in quite big waves. You are also you can also play in co-op, so there's going to be two of you who can play online against one another and can take on, and it's quite fun to take on these enemies from two different directions and to help each other out with health boosts and other team related tricks. I was surprised to find out that the game is not going to be a head-to-head battle. The developers say that might be something they look at in the future, but it did surprise me that there's no PvP mode at the moment. Nevertheless, there is quite a lot of sort of scaling up mechanics going on in this game. You get presented with a map that you saw at the beginning of the game, this sort of hexagonal map, and you go from one hex to another, and some of the hexes are battles and some of them are kind of boosts, and along the way you're picking up, you saw some of the elements that you, these sort of gold coins that, these hexagons that you pick up, that's currency, and you use that currency in order to buy better weapons, in order to buy tank upgrades. And I think that the main strategy here that I found playing the game recently was the kinds of weapons that you want to be using. At any one point you're using two weapons, and do you want to buy a weapon that homes in on its enemies like that, or do you want to buy something that's just easy to use like the machine gun, or do you want to buy something that's especially suited to those more difficult enemies that are in the air? As you go through the levels towards the sort of final hex, the tanks that you come up against become more difficult, become more demanding, they take longer to take out. When you do take them out, you can pick up boosts, you can pick up extra ammo, and ammo conservation is kind of a factor in this game. The maps that you get presented with are sort of random. I don't mean that they're random in the sense that they're randomly designed, but they're random in that there's different kind of environments that you come up across, and you get served them randomly. So one of the things about these levels is that they have that sort of sci-fi, very sharp lines between you and the enemy. There's no kind of like rolling meadows that you might expect in a real 20th century tank battle. And the developer said it just seemed to work better for them. But there are ramps that you move up and down. I did find that there is a cooldown period on your weapons. There's also a heat up period while you're trying to, if you transfer yourself from one weapon to another, there's going to be a moment where you've got to wait for it to come online. So all that stuff takes a little bit of tactical getting used to, making the most of. But during the play, the AIs, they're not as smart as you are, and you can generally outwit them and keep away from their fire. Their projectiles are moving at such a pace that, generally speaking, you can see them coming at you, and you can make the move to get out of their way. So there's a lot of strafing, a lot of running, a lot of weapon selection. I mean, if you've played a first-person shooter in your life, then this is what it is. And the VR field of vision is kind of is that sort of plane in front of you. It's not all around you. So there is that sort of limitation as well. But like I say, I played it for a while. After a bit, I did start to feel a bit sick, a bit nauseous. But I think that's because it moves extremely quickly, and they designed it so that you do have time to go back in and look at the map and look at your upgrades, because it does move very fast. and I think if you're looking for a fast-paced shooter on a sort of like two-dimensional plane that is in 3D, then this is probably where you're going to begin. Battlezone is coming out at launch on PlayStation VR in October, and my name is Colin Campbell. I'm with Polygon.
Convoy has reached its destination. Great job.